Early bird gets the worm. Yeah. What's going on? What's going on? You dig? CASA RA SA RA. What will be, will be. You know, talk about a lot of random topics, economics, life cycles, the history of mankind, business, life situations, uh, wars, civil wars, all type of all type of things. All type of things. One thing I want to talk about is sabotage. Um, if you're in a business or have anything successful going on for yourself, the people around you or the people that you grow up with, if they know what's going on, they're around you, seeing you take off, separate yourself immediately. These people will recruit people to induce business with you just to try to put you in a situation. I give you an example. I got a I was working. Well, I had a company I had started with my mother. It was a veteran construction company. She was a veteran, so that we can do veteran contracts. We got to have an actual veteran on the company. We was 99% complete with the certification. They just needed her to call to verify that she was an actual veteran on the company, so it's not like fraud or people try to use people information to start companies to get in certain criterias to get ahead. And she just went irate one day, called me, said she don't want to do any business with me, this and that. Now I had guaranteed millions with this sector lined up, and I told her she was gonna get $1 million. She turned all of that down um, and asked me or told me I need to get a job. She thought I had nothing else going on, but I always had businesses going on. So I don't know. People have their own imagination of what's going on or how important they are to a situation, and they realize that they just ruined their opportunities to become successful based on someone else's efforts. All she had to do was be my mother, and she'd have been, where she wanted to be at. But she likes to struggle. My whole life, I watched her struggle and argue, complain about men, chase men around. So I guess that's what you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So no matter how great you are, people still gonna be stuck in their ways, and they'll sabotage you to create this ideal of you just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that is, I don't know. But ironically, a company that was a veteran company reached out to me a few months ago, wanted to do business. We met, and first thing they asked me is, "Why haven't I done this with a family member? Anybody? Do I know any other veterans?" And so I'm like, okay, this sounds like an inside job. So long story short, I was doing a lot of groundwork and research and project management, a lot of different things, bidding, estimating, deciphering, language, knowledge. Basically, ran a whole project, put a whole project together, I should say. So these people, before we got started, because they was giving me loopholes so I can like exit myself out, or so they can like take the bid without compensating me for the project, and I completed everything because I am who I am. So he found out I was actually licensed and everything. He wanted to get he didn't even want to do the work with a permit. And this is what you got to watch with people in business. If they're trying to cut corners, and you're actually a legit business, and they're from out of town, and they don't know your state regulations, but they're trying to cut corners and they're trying to tell you what's regulated, that's a red flag. So I never went against the state regulations or the state codes or anything based on my knowledge and my experience. No matter what somebody's saying, no matter what they're trying to convince you, no matter how much they try to pressure you, you have to stay in your comfort zone. So this company was threatening me, they're getting aggressive, but still want me to work with them. I made a lot of contacts. I am from Illinois, from the state. So I made a lot of contacts. So it's weird when someone sends you, when you ask for payment, you say wire it or Zelle it. They say they don't have Zelle. We can overnight you a check. They overnight you a check and say they paid you, right? The check had a 15 or 14-day hold on it. And I contacted the bank because he was like, yeah, contact the bank, it's your bank. Woo, woo. I contact my bank. They said it's not my bank, it's their bank because they've been canceling checks the last 365 days. I'm like, okay. They said maybe other things too, but we definitely see that they've been canceling checks the last 365 days. Prior conversation, he said he had to sue somebody in Jersey, or he's going to go after the guy in Jersey because it's something he did. And he wants people to get a performance bond for each project, which a performance bond is they basically get compensated based on your performance, regardless of the situation. Man, um, we didn't even actually put a nail in the ground or anything on the project yet. Come to find out, there were no approvals. It was a hospital we are working on. It was no approvals. So this guy wanted me to order materials. Then he wanted me to order the materials under my account on credit, and the materials were $40,000. The payment he sent was nowhere near $40,000. So I said, okay. And the payment he sent was for my compensation, for me putting time in, my insurance, permits, fees, things of that nature. Um, so what I'm not understanding is, how do I get payment and for me to get all the equipment together, tools, make sure all the paperwork is in order and manage everything. Put the project together, submittals and everything. And then you don't pay for the materials. You say, I got to get the materials there and then you'll reimburse me. How is that possible if you got paid prior? The VA gave you a down payment prior and the payment's good. You're the prime. Even though we're working together, you're the prime contractor. So as a prime, you're responsible for the materials. Why would you pay somebody? Because you got paid as well. And if you can order if you got if we got the same goal, why can't you order the material and pay for it so I can get started? Or give me the money to pay for the materials so we can get started. Then another thing was a red flag was he wants to get started in the winter. He wanted to get started at the end of February. He said, "Oh yeah, they got everything ready. They got everything ready." Then I'm like, "No, it's not good. We had to do it late March or April." I'm looking at April, mid-April. "Oh no, we got to do it in March." We all just went through March. It snowed what, 4 times? Rain 8 to 12 times. Um, and it was cold the rest of the month. So that's what, at least 25 to 26 days, horrible days in March. He wanted to squeeze in one of them days saying, we got to get it done. We got to get this done. The day I didn't come out there the day that he wanted to set everything up. He said the inspector was supposed to be there, all of this. The state inspectors have a pre-inspection where nobody has to be present as long as they have roof access. He, oh, I thought it was well, we're from, that's not what goes on. You didn't even ask. You just said you incentivized that what you were saying was correct. That's another thing. Watch out for people that act like they know what's going on, but wait to get corrected. Those people will lead you off a cliff. So come to find out, because they drove out there. First of all, he said his car was down, only go 65 miles per hour. He had to drive his wife's car. That has nothing to do with anything. But you're letting me know your situation. Then he told me prior that Yeah, we can't have nobody mess up on these jobs. We go out of business. That was another red flag. Um, so when I found out, when I didn't meet them that day because there was no approvals, man, I never got any notices from the hospital saying a start date or you're welcome to come on the property to get started. Um, no contact. When I asked for the contact with the VA, I got no response. Emails, phone calls, left voicemails, no response. Um, so kind of found out no approvals. The hospital has to get an evacuation plan. Then there has to be a site plan for the cranes. Man, I didn't even know we needed a crane prior to the project. It's not in the plans. It was not discussed. Um, what was shown was 2 stories, and we come to the site as 6 stories. So that's a change work order. Then they asked for electrical. Um, I was supposed to just do the roofs. He was like, "Yeah, you got to do electrical for the same number too, but we're gonna do a change work order, but you're not gonna get a change work order." What? Okay, that makes no sense. We can't do business like this. We got to renegotiate. Kind of find out the contract was bogus. It was not binding at all. The contract I sent was, but he disregarded it and had some paperwork he wanted me to sign, which was not binding. It was a whole nother state attached. It had nothing to do with the project. So we're back to square one, where I received a payment and for my services, and now and it's a 14-day hold. So I was gonna go out there. I fronted the equipment and tools payments. I had a tool delivered. They said we don't hold tools here at the hospital, so we don't know what's going on. So that let me know this may not be a real project. They may be just trying to put me in debt with the supplier so I could be out of business. Why would I be in debt with the suppliers $40,000 if I haven't got paid or assured I'm gonna get paid? Um, and then he asked me to cut corners, and I got a license, I got the permit, and I haven't been compensated for the materials. Usually, when somebody give you a payment, either they're gonna give you a payment to pay for materials, or they're gonna pay for materials and give you a payment to get started. We have yet to have a start date. We have yet to have approvals. We have yet to have any communication with the people that was responsible. That's at the property. To okay and assuring, I haven't had any emails. Last emails we had was trying to renegotiate the contract, and he said it has to be the same number for more things. I'm like, that doesn't work. So, 14-day hold, right? 2 weeks later, I get a letter. They hired an attorney to send me a letter about a check payment, and then they describe the what they wanted the terms to be for me to do a project. But like I said, there's no binding contract. Off a verbal discussion we had, which they know they seen. I sent several contracts where that amount that they sent is not near the amount that the contract has to be. Man, I'm the reason why we got the project. They just was a veteran company to put the order in, but without me giving them the knowledge, they wouldn't even been in this situation. Because one, they're not even from here, and they met me on social media. They reached out to me from social media. Now that's bad business practice. In any business, you have to resolve it if you want the business to get done. And you just go separate ways. Now this project could be easily, if it is a real project, they could just pay for the material or order it on credit and wait to get their payment and then pay for it, then pay me again, then we're done. But why would I pay for the materials for something I'm not directly getting paid for? You are submittals to the company, to the veterans. I have no communication with them. I've reached out, they didn't hit me back. but you've been telling me from the jump, oh, I'm a sue or this and that. How you tell me during the process of the check on hold, oh, we're just gonna get somebody else. Oh, we're just gonna fire you. You gonna fire me? All right. This is probably the second day the check was on hold. So you let the check go unholded because I sent you an invoice because you owe me. You actually still owe me a few $1,000s. No response. Then you send me a letter like I owe you services. That don't even make sense. You could have canceled the check if you didn't owe me money. You knew you owed me money, but you want to play. You want to play intimidation games, bro. I know the law. I've been in business, but this is what people do. Now this is now I say it to say. Only time I was dealing with veterans to have a veteran company to get in the portals was with my mother. She was working with the VA as a volunteer. So this is another red flag with people, and this is how you know people be envious. My mother chose to be a volunteer for years with the VA instead of having her own company or being a part of a company with her son. Based on her other sons being jealous, based on her family members being jealous, based on her not controlling what's going on because she has no knowledge of it. All she had to do is be a member of the board. But instead, you recruit people, find people, and try to sabotage me, and the whole situation don't even make sense. Cause that's what happened. That's what it is. Um, so it's like it's just business. You just gotta watch out for people. They try to come at different angles and sabotage. Even if you do nothing wrong, people will try to put you in situations where they create a facade that you did something wrong, but in reality, you did nothing wrong. You know, if you put a project together and it got awarded, and the people try to get you off the project without compensating you, you get compensated, and then they try to put you in debt, and you don't go through with it because it doesn't make sense because you're not the prime. The prime is responsible for the material. The prime submitted what I sent them to submit to get approved to come to the property. Why can't you get the material to the property so I can get started? What are you actually doing? You know, what are you doing? You haven't did anything but call me and bother me and harass me for what, 2.5 months because you was trying to set me up to put me out of business. I just didn't get set up to put out of business. It didn't work the way you wanted it, so you just trying to come at all angles, which is on you. But I know where all this is stemming from. Everything, and this is another thing I want to know, let people know. When things happen in your life, it's not a coincidence. How this happened, can't see my daughter because of my baby mama, um, which I still don't even know her true reason, but she's just bitter. Haven't seen my daughter in months. Just bitter. Um, but her and my mom talk all the time. They might be dating, or double dating together. Who knows? Sh- You know, my mother didn't go to church until my grandfather passed. That was weird. Um, my baby mama might be going to church now. Who knows? And she never liked church. They said she was the devil. But I said to say, um, people, when you're doing great, people will do things to try to sidetrack you because they can't control you. Each of these situations and scenarios, I wasn't able to be controlled, so they had to try to make it seem like I did something wrong, and in reality, they were wrong because they can't enslave a person. They can't make a smart person be dumb. They can't, and that's the thing with some people. They want to control great people to make themselves feel like they great, but really they ain't great. They just trying to manipulate. And when manipulation doesn't work, these people will be basically Karens or I just say Karens. They'll just lie, blatantly lie. Like I said, it's grown men where that was talking shit to me. Um, and I'm like, we could just work this out, this business. He was drunk. I don't wanna talk drunk, da 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 da. Send me messages and all of that. And now you send me a letter from an attorney. You hired an attorney to send me a letter. And the attorney doesn't know what's going on. You ought to even tell him what's going on. We had a conversation for 10 minutes and he realized he don't know what's going on and want to get off the phone and talk to his clients. Okay. But this is business. That's what you go through. That's why you got to keep motion going. You got to keep business going, different business, every avenues. You got to do this because you're doing it for you. You ain't doing it for nobody else. You're doing it for you and yours. So you got to stay positive. Um, you know, and some family, you got to take the court for what's yours. Um, you got to file some paperwork. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do because they'll take advantage of you. Um, People want, then there's other people, when they find out, most of the people, they stay out the way. They're like, oh, I can't believe she did that or this and that. Then there's some people telling you to take the L because they always had to take an L because they can't do shit right. But then they never took an L by uh, somebody begging you to invest with them or borrow and they're going to pay you back. They never went through that. Then they never went through it being your mother. So these people be making opinions, but they mother never asked them for no money. They asked their mother for money. So we'll never be the same. And y'all are just males. Y'all not men. And it's not even a bunch of men. Um, and then the sad part is women know not one woman said I was wrong. They just said she's a toxic mother. Why would she even do that? Why would she depend on you so much? Why would she even put you in that situation? Um, said one lady broke down and cried and said, I shouldn't be dealing with this. I'm too much of a great person. Almost brought tears to my eyes, but it gave me a comfort feeling that because my mother hated me my whole life. I was very intelligent, excelled in everything, and she prevented me from skipping grades when I was young. They would still give me to work, but I had nothing to do. All the computer programs I excelled at when I was in second grade. So I was reading at a high school to college level at 7 years old. So I would be done with my classwork within 2 to 5 minutes, and then it'd be 30 minutes worth of work. Everybody else is in the classroom still working, and the teacher just notices me just staring off or daydreaming, or you start playing around. You're a kid. Won a lot of achievements, awards, science fairs. And I used to walk to these places miles to present projects. Nobody with boards and everything in the snow. And I got second place in the was it the regional or the state science fair? I know I got first place out of all the schools, but when it was like I guess all the other schools in the district or the other districts, I should say, the state, I got second place. And I remember walking on my way home and like something happened with the board, or I think I dragged it a little bit and like it broke. And I just threw that shit. And I'm like, it's second place anyway. Um, but the fact is, it was my project, it was my experiments, and I was hurt that I got second place because I know everybody else had their parent help them, and I got all the way to the state with no assistance, and I lost. and all I needed was a ride. And I felt like, because I had to walk there, you know what I'm saying? I felt like it probably got a little wet from the snow when I first came. I feel like if I had a fresh board, like it wasn't damp or anything, I would have got first place. So that's why I was kind of mad. And it was a Saturday, so it was like, most people don't work on Saturdays unless they doing overtime. And it was like, y'all knew what I had going on, and it was like nobody wanted to support it. Even I think my older brother lived with my mom at the time. He wasn't even around to give me a ride. It was like everybody vanished. Uh, I ain't never had rides like that. No, I used to catch the bus. But I said to say, yeah, man, I went through a lot. Um, I got text messages of my uncle telling me I'm gonna be homeless, all this and that. I'm broke. The pandemic messed me up, and I just don't understand where did he get this? Like, where is he getting this information from? Because he can't work at the bank. He doesn't know. He can't be working at the bank. He can't be working at the bank talking about I'm broke. So I like people just be stuck in their own world. Like, and they be fixated on you. You owe me money, but I'm broke. Come on, that don't even make sense. Um, and then I don't hear from you from years until somebody else tell you to call me to like bother me just to be negative. But you can't even be negative with people, and then these people can't be negative with people they deal with or people they want to be around or random people that they, you know what I'm saying, they don't like. You can't do that. But as we see on TV and media, anybody that's successful in their community or successful in a race culture, they gonna tear them down. People will make up rumors to tear you down. You know what I'm saying? Um, Give you an example. Michael Jackson, he been dead. The little boys come out. My parents made me say that just so we can get a check. Ain't nobody go to jail for false accusations, but they could go to jail for perjury. But the kid was a minor at the time. But you know what that means? If the kid was a minor at the time and it was perjury, that means the parents coerced them to do it. So the parents need jail time. But see, we don't know that loophole because, um, well, I can't say we don't because that's what happened with R. Kelly. The parents knew what was going on, just like the Michael Jackson parents knew what was going on. Michael Jackson, he didn't do nothing with the kids. He just showed them good time because he never had a childhood, so he had nothing but kid things to do, and he was rich. R. Kelly, he was touched as a kid, so he used to mess with little girls, and the girls was in love with him. They was cool with him. The mothers stopped getting paid. The fathers stopped getting paid. So, because he take care of the girls, what I need to pay out for these girls grown now. Now we'll tell what you did before she was grown. What? Baby, you gonna do that? No, I never do that. So the parents, that was a money grab. Because everybody play his songs at the family reunions, at the cookouts, the barbecues. Man, he still got to be getting some money. That shit good. That shit only good to y'all. His money been gone. He done signed to sign to somebody, to sign to somebody, to sign to somebody. You know what I'm saying? But black people, African American people think you still got money going on from shit 20 years ago, a song that was a hit 20 years ago. Ignorance is bliss. And they made documentaries. All these parents, these black parents that's so aggressive, they care about their kids. These are two-parent household parents that gave their daughters away. I probably seen about one, maybe two single mothers. The rest of them was together with the father and they gave their daughter away. That means y'all was struggling and need that extra money. Common sense. They made a documentary. They asked interviewing themselves. How you got a daughter or a child and you're allowed them with another grown person because they're a successful musician. What would your wife do if she was with R. Kelly by herself in the studio? Ask your wife what would she do. Ask your baby mama what she would do. Or listen to your baby mama or your wife when she tell her friend about her daughter going in the studio with R. Kelly, working with R. Kelly for months. Girl, that was me. I be woo 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 woo. I can sing now. If that's their energy or that's the female energy, why the fuck would you allow your daughter to be around this man unsupervised? How you a father and you not gonna be with your child 24/7 if they got talent doing something? Even if they was playing a sport, you at the practice. If you ain't at practice, you pick them up from practice. You talking to the coach. The coach got your number. You at the games. You watching the games. You know what I'm saying? You at the gym training them every day. You helping them out. You involved. These girls that had no concerts, no singles, and they just with this man. Make this shit make sense. After the first week, we ain't dropped no single. What we doing? That sounds too much like right. But common sense ain't common. But people will make all this hoopla and all this extra shit around it just so they get a couple dollars. And it be small money. But they ain't had to work for it. They just complained and drummed and lied for it. So I guess it ain't like working a job, but you put way more stress and tension on your body to get something that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And even with this, I don't know nothing about these entertainers, their situations, but somebody broke down to me like since Diddy got sons, and if his sons was underage and his sons had girlfriends or whatever, and they went out of town or they went on a plane or a jet, that's sex trafficking. Um, that's what they said, like that he can be charged with sex trafficking based on that, just being a chaperone, taking an underage person, even though they're not with them, they're with his sons to go places. I was like, what the fuck? So I don't even want no sons. These my daughter, her friends. Sex traffic, what? Who having sex? You know what I'm saying? But that's messed up. He could be trying to make sure they don't get into no shit because they who they are. And years later, y'all talking about he sex trafficking because his kid was on trying to stunt for this little. Man, you can woo woo. Dad, can I use it, man? Can we go? All right, son, I gotta be there with you. Make sure you don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you got too much freedom. That's sex trafficking. White people do it all the time. They daughter meet a guy and they'll take him places because they daughter like him. Probably seem like a nice young man. So it's crazy. They just got his son locked up or arrested. I should say they put it in media. Then all this media, nothing but black people talking negative. Everybody that worked for him got something to say. They got interviews to say something. And it's damn, where the loyalty at? Like, you just gonna like, and then it's like it's at the point where anybody can say anything that worked for him and people gonna run with it. Like, okay, what's the big deal about what he do in the bedroom? That's his business. And if the people participate don't have a problem with it, what's the problem? They'd have said something when it happened. Ain't nobody say nothing. So people just exposing their sexuality, but trying to blame him ain't got nothing to do with it. And then they see somebody sue and get paid because his business got paid because she didn't sue him directly. She sued the business. Because that's why he don't mix business and personal. But she was his fiance. So, but they was You know, he was probably doing stuff in the studio with his fiance, and she's an employee. You know what I'm saying? So I get how that worked. You just got caught up, Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Her and the white husband been thinking on that shit for years. Cause she got kids and everything, and she just thought about you. Nah, they just needed some bread. Buddy ain't whatever he doing ain't working out. But now everybody else wants some bread. All right. And I don't know these people, but I can just see common sense when somebody's successful and what people want. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with the Bill Cosby, it was 1,000 white women that came out and said he did this 30 years ago. You know, I thought murder was the only crime that had no statutes of limitations. And then they said that the woman wanted it. They asked him for it. You know what I'm saying? The man had to play blind on his last few court days because he just can't. But he probably lost his sight of what's really going on. He don't know what's going on. He was Bill Cosby. First of all, back in them days, if a white woman approached you, she really, really wants you. But man, that's crazy. Um, because he was from a bad network, a children's network, a public network. Like the top 20 channels. But you know, life is life. You gotta keep living, and sometimes you gotta diversify to express and to vent who you really are. Um, so I said to say, I wish everybody well. Wish everybody peace. I wish everybody more motion. More motion brings happiness and peace, and everything will be a conglomerate if you work hard towards it. Um, keep faith. Um, have courage, but don't confuse courage with pride. So if it ain't your strong suit, work on it. And if it ain't your strong suit, don't force it. Unless you just want to see what's happening. Then you can, if you into trial and error, then do your thing. Ain't nothing wrong with trial and error. But you got to know what mind state you in. And then if you're doing anything of that nature, just don't have nobody around you. Um, I advise anybody doing anything new or anything that they want in life, don't tell anybody and don't have nobody around you while you're doing it. You'll get more gratification out of the pleasure of succeeding versus someone else's comments. CASA RA SA RA. What will be, will be. Stay fly, stay high. Peace.